So we did 8 single crochets in the last round, which means that in this round we'll be doing 9. Now, as usual, we start right here, or loop is right here, which means that we'll start here. And we're going to start by doing 8 stitches because we'll complete the row with 1 stitch to make the full set of 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and in this stitch we do 2 more. So that's 1, 2. Now we can do the full set of 9 in the next set for the pattern. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then in the stitch beside it we do 2, so that's 1, and in that same stitch we'll do another 2. So go ahead and complete your next row, which is going to be 9 single crochets, and then beside that we'll do 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So continue that pattern going all around. Now in the last row we did 9 single crochets, and then we did 2 single crochets in 1 stitch that followed that. That was the pattern, which means that in this row we'll be doing 10 single crochets, and then in the stitch right beside it we'll be doing 2 single crochets inside that stitch. Now this is what my work looks like after my last round, and I'm gonna go ahead and demonstrate the next. Now the pattern is really simple. You'll see how we're repeating. We're just increasing the number of stitches in each row to increase the size of the circle. So I did 9 before, 9 single crochets before I did my increase, and now I'm going to do 10 single crochets in this row. Now, as you know, when we start the round, we're going to do it with 1 less stitch. So even though this is my set that includes 10 single crochets, I'm going to start by doing 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and in the stitch right beside that we'll do 2. So 1, and in that same stitch we do another for 2. Now we're going to go ahead and do a full set for this round. So again, the pattern for this round is 10 single crochets and then 2 beside it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then right beside that, right here, we'll be doing 2 single crochets right through the middle of this stitch. So 1 and 2. And then I'm going to continue that pattern going all the way around. Now in the last row we did 10 single crochets before we did our increase, which is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And in this row we're going to do 11. Now again, we're going to start the row in exactly the ways that we've done before, and that is I'm going to start by doing 10 stitches to start, and then I'll complete that set in the end. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And right beside that we'll do 2 single crochets inside, 1, 2, and then we're going to start with the set. And the set for this round again is that we'll do 11 single crochets, and after you've done that you'll do 2 single crochets in 1 stitch beside that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and right here we have our 11th stitch. And then in the stitch beside it we do 2. So that's the pattern for this round, and you can go ahead and continue that going all the way around to the end here. Now for the next round we'll be doing our sets of 12. So we did 11 single crochets in the last round before we did our increased stitch for the pattern. So in this round we're gonna do 12. Now starting here, I'm gonna start by doing 11 for my first set, because remember we end with 1 single crochet to complete the first set. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can see that these are the 2 single crochets from the last round. 10, 11, and right beside that we'll do 2 single crochets in this stitch. So that's 1, 2, and I'm gonna continue the patterns. I'm gonna do a full set of 12 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right beside that, we're gonna do 2 inside the stitch. So that's 1, and in that same stitch, that's 2. So go ahead and continue the pattern, which is 12 single crochets followed by 2 single crochet in the stitch beside it. That's the pattern. We repeat that going all the way around. Remember that we end the round on 1 single crochet to complete the first set here. Now I'm going to do one more row where I show you the pattern, but by now you should be able to expand your circle on your own. In the last round, I would have done 12 single crochets followed by 2 single crochets in one stitch for my pattern and my increase. So that means that in this row, I'll be doing 13. Now to start the row, I'm gonna start by doing 12 single crochets, even though it's a row of 13s, because as you'd know by now, for my first set, I always do 1 single crochet less than the pattern set required for the row. And then we'll end the entire row by doing 1 single crochet. So I've done 4 so far. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And right beside that, we're going to do 2 single crochets in the following stitch. So 1, 2, and now we can complete the set, the full set, and that's where we do 13 single crochets. That's a pattern that will be repeated going around, and then 2 single crochets beside that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I've completed my single crochets for the set, and beside that we do 2, 1, 2. So go ahead and continue the pattern for the row. That's 13 single crochets followed by 2 single crochets in one stitch. You repeat that going all around until you have 1 stitch left. In that stitch, you'll do 1 single crochet to complete the entire round. And you're going to pretty much do that in each row going forward, depending on how large you want your circle to be. So I've done 13 here. In the next row, it's going to be 14, and then 15, 16, and so on. Right? Also, if your work starts to curl a bit, so if it's not perfectly flat like this, but it starts to curl, don't worry about that. Following this, I'm going to show you a technique that will keep your circle perfectly flat. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take, this is a pillowcase, laying it on top of my work. And then I'm going to use a steamer and do a steam press to flatten it out. Okay, so now I have a perfectly flat circle. However, I can still clearly see the points where I've done my increases, and I want to remove those. Now, the way that we do that is by doing 1 single crochet in each and every stitch without any increases at all. So in your final round, do 1 single crochet in each stitch going all the way around. So again, it is 1 single crochet in each stitch, just like what I'm doing now, and just like you've been doing all throughout this project. We're going to do 1 in each and every stitch going all the way around. Now, I went ahead and did 27 rows to complete my circle. You can continue the pattern to make it larger if you so desire. To close out the round, go ahead and cut your yarn, and this is to close it out fully. And then we're going to pull it through. Now insert your hook to the back of the stitch, like so. I'm gonna pull that through as well. And then we're going to insert our hook, the last stitch that's right here. We're gonna insert our hook up through the back bump, like that, through the loop, like that. We're going to yarn over and pull it through both. And then you can pull on it, of course, to make it even in size with all the other stitches. And voila! Now to the back of your work, you can just go ahead and feed in the yarn, the stitches here in the back.